The film we're going to see this week is not a great movie. That is, it has some limitations in terms of its filmic powers. However, it is a testament to the American theater, and it also is one of Eli Kazan's best films. Now, Eli Kazan is a figure somewhat like John Ford last week. John Ford has this huge reputation, especially among members of the Good Old Boys Club, especially about Westerns. If you love Westerns, John Ford is your director, and he can do no wrong. In Eli Kazan's case, he brought to the film a lot of problematic films dealing with subjects that were deep, interesting, but not pleasant. And he made a specialty of asking questions, of challenging the status quo. And his films all have a kind of theatric feel to them. This is true about A Streetcar Named Desire because it was shot in a studio. And I think if it had been shot on real locations, it probably would have had a different feeling to it. So A Streetcar Named Desire stands as one of the four great post-war dramas in theater. It is by Tennessee Williams. It was a tremendous hit, shocking, revelatory. It ran on Broadway forever. It was a member of a group of plays, one called Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller. And then later this is followed by A Long Day's Journey into Night by Eugene O'Neill. These three dramas took over Europe, that were performed every year. So they became a kind of symbol for the new theater in America and how vibrant and how real it really is and was. That was at the beginning of the 50s. So when it came to casting this film, we have a bit of puzzlement. The actress that made it so famous, Uta Hagen, she was not asked to be in the film. In fact, what happens is that Kazan asked Vivian Leigh, who had not made very many American films after she was such a complete triumph in Gone with the Wind. So it had many years later, now it's 25 years later, and she still wants to basically keep her reputation as a great actress. And so she agreed to be in this film. Lots of trouble. It's because the character in the Streetcar Named Desire is a woman that is truly suffering from schizophrenia. She is going into madness slowly, and she is sort of moving from reality back to a dream world, back to an instability. And of course, the reality was that Vivian Leigh was almost precisely in this state in her real life. She had been hospitalized. She knew that she was losing this control of reality. And she was quite frightened of the role once she agreed to do it because she was afraid that it would push her into madness. So this is a very unusual situation with an actress and a role. Now, the other protagonist was a man that made himself very famous with Streetcar, and they decided to use him, and that's Marlon Brando. This was his signature role. He had been playing it for many years, and I think that one of the things is the way that it makes him so, stand out in the film. The acting style reflected something called the method. And the method came out of a workshop called the Actors Studio. And it had a lot to do with investigating yourself in terms of a role. We know now that many English actors do not use, in fact, they're quite, they feel that the method is ridiculous, but English actors know often how to inhabit a role, how to inhabit a character. And I think that the method helped American actors try to discover how to inherit characters. Both Kim Bassett, I mean, not Kim Bassett, the girl that plays the wife, and also all of the actors in the film basically were members of the Actors Studio. And so they were exhibiting one kind of acting, and Vivian Lee was exhibiting another kind of acting. Now, what this does is it puts her into this very haunting realm of not being real, and this works extraordinarily with the material. Why those three plays became so famous in America has something to do with they were the first genuine tragedies that looked at American life and saw it through a template that was not pleasant. In the case of Streetcar, you have people just simply lost in delusion and denial. And I think this is an American trait that we have popping out all over today. Americans are famous for simply not wanting to face the truth and for making up alternative sources of truth. That they did it back in the 50s, back in the 40s. So it brought to light a kind of syndrome in the American spirit that basically was extremely negative. It is true with Death of a Salesman and true with Long Day's Journey in the Night, into Night. And it allowed us to look very carefully into our souls, the American soul. I think that now that we have come to the years of retribution and the years of atonement, we realize that looking back on our history is filled with this darkness and these ugly parts of the world and our world that we never wanted to face before. So drama helps us face the results of trauma. And of course, this piece has trauma out the kazoo. It really is one of the great traumatic works, and it allows actors to give performances that are unforgettable. Now, Vivian Lee won the Academy Award for this performance and certainly deserved it. The wife of Marlon Brando won the Academy Award for her performance, but Brando didn't. Now, some of this has to be explained from some kind of strange Hollywood nonsense. He was very brash, he was very outspoken, he was very honest, and it rubbed the Hollywood, the Hollywood sort of establishment the wrong way. He was a rebel, and they basically, he did not want to fit in, and they really punished him by not giving him an award. They eventually gave him an award for The Godfather, but it's interesting, this is one of his most complex and most, honest performances that you will see on film. So I've chosen the film because I think it is not only a great drama, a great story, but it also has these elements that I think we could discuss, because I think these elements are all very important for American life and for our image as a country. And I think this Grapes of Wrath was that last week, and I think A Streetcar is also one of those works.